Which brings us to the 73rd Governor of the Commonwealth of Virginia, Ralph Northam. Good to have you with us. Congratulations.
Well, thank you so much, Scott. This is an exciting day for Virginia to be the #1 state in this great country of ours for business, third year running. And what a beautiful day it is here at the Port of Virginia. And just appreciate CNBC being here. And, you know, we've put a lot of investment, a lot of thought into our port. It's a tremendous asset for our economy. As you said, we've invested close to $1.5 billion. We've got going to have the deepest channels, the widest channels to allow these large ships coming from the Panama Canal. So it's a great day for Virginia. So
last time we did this was 2 years ago.
Yes.
We didn't do award a top state last year. We have a little bit of catching up to do because
yes.
in 2019, as we alluded to a moment ago, you were coming off of a rough patch. The
yes.
state was coming off a rough patch. And you vowed to use the remainder of your term to push for equity. And
Absolutely.
I think everybody can agree that that became a priority for you. How do you feel about where you've gone, and is there a danger of going too far?
Well, you know, when you do the right thing for people, it's not only right for them, but it's good for business. And we have proven that, Scott. And, you know, yes, Virginia went through some tough times, but Virginians stuck with me. I committed to dealing with equity, to addressing the numerous inequities that we have in Virginia. 400 years plus of history, some of it good, some of it not good. But things like access to health care, we expanded Medicaid, and thank goodness during the pandemic, over 550,000 Virginians had access to health care, access to a world-class education, which is so important for workforce development, access to voting. Virginia is promoting, you know, making it easier to vote while other states are not. And certainly as a veteran, that's the foundation of our democracy. So a lot of good things are happening in Virginia with equity. We pride ourselves in embracing diversity. We're an inclusive state, and we're open for business.
Let me ask you about voting. One of the things that you did was you got rid of the voter ID requirement. And the way that this is framed in a lot of the debate is a question of faith in the election system
yes.
versus openness. And the idea of voter ID is not necessarily something that even Democrats now are necessarily against. And I asked you a moment ago if you've gone too far. Is that a question? Are you risking the integrity of this state's voting system?
Not at all. We've had a number of elections here in Virginia. They've been safe. We've had accurate results. And, you know, not only the voter ID, and by the way, about 10% of the population doesn't have a photo ID. So, you know, that's just an attempt from the other party to make it more difficult to vote. We're not going to go there. We also have no excuse absentee voting. We want to make it less cumbersome of a vote. Again, that's the foundation, that's the backbone of our democracy, and that's the way we're going to move forward.
So let's talk a little bit about health care, which
yes.
you also spoke about a moment ago. You're a physician, for those
yes.
that don't know. We're hopefully through the worst of the pandemic. First of all, what do you think about that? Are we now rounding the corner? Is this done, or are you worried about a resurgence?
Well, we're certainly in a much better spot than we were 16 months ago. Our first case in Virginia was back in March of 2020. And, you know, initially it was tough to get PPE and then testing supplies. We've had a very successful vaccine rollout in Virginia. Over 73% of Virginians have now had their first shot or two, and so we're in a better place. But I would encourage everybody across this great country of ours to roll up their sleeve and get a shot if they haven't already done so. That's the way we're going to put this pandemic behind us. But yes, Scott, as a doctor, I have used science, I've used data, I've communicated with Virginians every day and let them know what's happening, and they've done a great job in Virginia.
So now, as we rate the state, we do this new category
yes.
now, life, health, and inclusion, which used to be quality of life. Virginia comes in 11th. So the inclusiveness certainly helped you in the category.
Yes.
But in terms of health care, Virginia underspends the national average on public health funding. You were stretched a little bit at times during the pandemic. Do you feel like this state is prepared and has the resources for, heaven forbid, another pandemic or whatever else?
Well, we've learned a lot, and so certainly we're going to be in a much better situation if we do have another pandemic. We still need to get this one in the rearview mirror. But, you know, we've done things like expanded Medicaid. Just recently we made an announcement that Medicaid recipients were eligible for dental care. So we're moving in a positive direction. And again, it is important from a business perspective. I talk to businesses all the time from in Virginia and around the world. They want their employees to have access to affordable and quality health care, and we're prepared to give it here in Virginia.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.